What will happen when a skilled hunter, ready for a day in the woods, stumbles upon a wolf struggling by an icy riverbank? He could easily claim it as a prize, but instead, he chooses kindness, helping the shivering animal survive the cold. Little does he know, this simple act will come back to change his life forever. Once upon a time, there was a man named Sebastian, who had a deep love for hunting. This passion had been passed down through generations in his family. His father, a skilled hunter, taught him everything he knew, just like his own father had taught him. As Sebastian grew older, he became an expert marksman, and his home was filled with trophies that showed his talent. For him, hunting wasn't just something to do, it was part of who he was. It connected him to nature and to his family's history. But life doesn't always go as planned. After finishing his studies in mechanics, Sebastian moved to a small town and began working as a mechanic. He had a stable job, a wife, and a young son named Leo to care for. However, after a few years, disaster struck. The company he worked for suddenly closed down, and Sebastian found himself out of work. No job, no paycheck, and a family to take care of. It was overwhelming. As the days passed, the pressure started to build. His wife, seeing the financial strain, became more worried and frustrated. Raising Leo while struggling to make ends meet was taking a toll on their relationship. But Sebastian, remembering the skills his father had taught him, realized he could turn to hunting. Why not use the knowledge passed down through the generations to provide for his family? Despite everything, Sebastian decided to return to the hunt once again. In the beginning, life was tough for Sebastian. Hunting was no longer something he did for fun. It was a way to survive. Every time he went into the woods, it was a fight to bring back food for his family. He knew the land, the animals, and the tools, but that didn't make it easy. Some days he was lucky, and other days the woods didn't give him much. But little by little, he managed to put food on the table. Every successful hunt, no matter how small, kept hope alive. As the years passed, things started to change. Sebastian found another job, but by that time, his marriage had begun to fall apart. The stress of their struggles had taken a toll on his wife, and she decided to leave. She believed she and their son, Leo, would have a better life apart from him. The separation was heartbreaking, but it was the goodbye to Leo that truly tore him apart. During his time without work, Sebastian had grown close to his son. They spent hours together, exploring the forests, hunting, and learning from each other. It was a bond he cherished deeply. Despite the pain, Sebastian respected his wife's decision. Leo and his mother moved to a nearby city, hoping for a fresh start. Though separated, Sebastian still managed to visit his son. Every visit was a chance to teach Leo more about hunting, share stories, and remind him of the strong bond they had. Leo was eager to learn, excited to follow in his father's footsteps. One winter, as Sebastian prepared for a hunt, he decided to take a different route, one he hadn't walked in years. The path led him through the village, past the familiar houses, and toward a small river at the edge of the forest. The air was crisp, and the snow covered everything in a thick, white blanket. As he reached the river, he was relieved to see that it had frozen over, making it easier to cross. But as he neared the bank, something unusual caught his eye. A large hole had formed in the ice, and something was stuck in the freezing water. As Sebastian got closer, his heart sank. There, half submerged and struggling, was a wolf. Its body was trapped in the ice, and its head lay on the surface, its eyes shut. Sebastian couldn't tell if it was alive or dead at first. He stepped closer, his heart racing. Then, the wolf's eyes slowly fluttered open. It looked at him, and in that moment Sebastian saw the pain and exhaustion in the animal's gaze. The wolf was struggling, barely able to move, half frozen in the cold water. Sebastian hesitated, unsure of what to do. His first thought was to leave it. After all, this was nature's way. But then, a soft, desperate whine escaped the wolf. It was a cry for help, and Sebastian knew he couldn't walk away. Sebastian's heart softened. He couldn't just leave the wolf to die in the freezing cold. Without thinking twice, he knelt down and used all his strength to pull the animal from the icy water. The wolf was heavy, its fur soaked and weighed down by the water, but Sebastian didn't give up. Slowly, with great effort, he managed to drag the wolf onto the shore. Once free, Sebastian stepped back, instinctively raising his rifle, ready to defend himself. But the wolf, too tired to move, didn't attack. Instead, it lay there, shivering badly. For a brief moment, Sebastian thought about walking away, letting nature take its course. But as he watched the wolf tremble in the cold, he realized it wouldn't survive the night if left alone. Taking a deep breath, he approached the animal slowly, speaking softly, hoping to calm it. The wolf's ears twitched and it seemed to listen. Sebastian carefully lifted the wolf, feeling its cold body in his arms. Despite the weight and the chill, he carried it back to his cabin. Once inside, he quickly started a fire in the hearth and laid the wolf in front of it. He covered it with a blanket and watched closely as the warmth began to work. Hours passed, and little by little, the wolf stopped shivering. Its eyes slowly brightened as it started to regain strength. Sebastian fed the wolf some leftover meat and water. The wolf ate quickly, its strength returning with every bite. As the night went on, the wolf curled up by the fire, finally falling asleep, warmed by the heat. The next morning, Sebastian was woken by scratching at the door. He got up and saw the wolf pacing outside, ready to leave. With a quiet sigh, Sebastian opened the door. The wolf didn't waste any time. It ran into the snow, stopping just before disappearing into the forest. It turned back to look at Sebastian one last time, almost like saying thank you, before it vanished into the woods. Sebastian stood for a moment, watching it go, feeling grateful. He resumed his life, never expecting to see the wolf again. But life had other plans. A few weeks later, Sebastian received a phone call. It was about Leo. His son would be visiting for a week. Excited to spend time with him again, Sebastian quickly made plans to take Leo on a hunting trip. He couldn't wait to show him the winter woods and teach him more about their shared love for hunting. When Leo arrived, they headed into the woods, following some of the familiar paths they had taken before. As they neared the frozen river, Leo spotted some animal tracks. Curious, he followed them, moving further away from his father. Suddenly, Sebastian heard a loud crack, then a scream. His heart dropped. He raced toward the sound, calling for Leo. When he reached the riverbank, he saw Leo half in the water, struggling to stay afloat. But to his surprise, the wolf, the same one he had saved weeks before, was there too. This time, the wolf wasn't attacking. Instead, it grabbed Leo's jacket with its teeth and pulled him out of the freezing water, saving him. Sebastian stood in shock, amazed by the wolf's unexpected help. The wolf's actions were incredible. With determination, it helped Leo back onto solid ice, where the boy scrambled to safety. The wolf quickly ran off toward the forest, stopping just before disappearing into the trees. Sebastian, still in shock, rushed to his son's side, helping him warm up. As Sebastian looked at the wolf, now fading into the forest, it hit him. This was the same wolf he had saved. The wolf had come back to return the favor, rescuing his son. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Sebastian quietly thanked the wolf, knowing that he would never forget the creature's heroic act. Sebastian made a vow that day, silently pledging never to hunt wolves again. The wolf had saved his son's life, and in return, Sebastian would honor that gift by protecting them. The experience deepened his connection with nature and reminded him of the delicate balance between man and the wild. From that day on, Sebastian continued to teach Leo about hunting, but with a new sense of respect for the creatures they hunted. And though he may never cross paths with that wolf again, the bond they shared, one of life, survival, and mutual respect, would remain with him forever. That's all for today. Now, it's your turn to share your thoughts about this story. What's the next story you'd like to know? Let us know in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe so you won't miss any of these amazing videos on The Wild Wonder.